What is on, guys? We're here back a brand new video, and today we are going to be answering your Q&A questions. First of all, hopefully you guys will notice I have a new microphone. It's a Blue Snowball. Leave a link to it down in the description below. But anyway, let's get straight into the questions. Then starting off with Jukebike, you're saying, are you ever going to be playing any decent games? Great question. Next question from Shark. What's F1? Getting better. Will you touch me there? So of course I said, where? My engine. Great. Oh, looks like we have a proper question from Elusive Kev. He says, congrats on 400 subs, dude. Questions, favourite Sutil moment, Monaco 2013, just some worldly overtakes, amazing race for Sutil, overtaking Button Alonso, just to, name a couple. World champions, and Sutil just comes in there, absolutely puts them amazing overtakes, on them, and just massive respect to for the people he passed for letting him kind of get by, not turning in on him or not crashing into him. It was just great racing, a really great race. I did really enjoy Monaco 2013, probably my favourite Monaco race because the races there are usually pretty boring, but I thought 2013 was pretty good. A fair bit of excitement. Maldonado once again causing it with him getting wrapped around the barrier. Very strange incident. Of course, bringing out the red flag, and then of course we had Perez and Sutil coming through the field. We had Rosberg, of course, winning the race, and behind Hamilton getting jumped, of course, by Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. So I think it was a pretty good race, certainly in the midfield. It's really exciting seeing, as I mentioned, Sutil and Perez coming through. If you're a team boss, which two drivers would you choose? Ricardo and Alonso. Sam Holloway, Sam F1 LFC asks, what is your favourite F1 race of all time? Brazil 2012. Really would be great to see the kind of HRT, Caterham, Marussia battle. And then, of course, most famously, Vettel and Alonso. So many fantastic, fights up and down the field. Of course, we had the Resta crashing into the wall with just a couple of laps to go, finishing the season behind the safety car. Capped off an amazing season and was just a brilliant race. But pretty much summed the whole year in one word: unpredictable. Zakarb does gaming asks, what is your goal for next year when it comes to subscribers? Hopefully in the first part of the year I'll hit 1,000 subscribers. I know it's pretty ambitious, but I've got to be ambitious really to be on YouTube, and then by the end of the year, I don't know, you're just so unpredictable, you just never know what's going to happen. PS Luton Rule says, what is your opinion on the Minardi F1 team? Really do like them. I think they're a really great team. Do miss them in F1, of course, prefer them hugely to Toro Rosso. I suppose like Toro Rosso, they brought a lot of good drivers into F1. Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso starting their careers there. But then you also had kind of Luca Padoa, Mark Genet, Freisaka, a few drivers that weren't so good. But they did have, a couple of good drivers, as I mentioned, Alonso and Webber started their careers there. So I think they did their, a great job as back markers. As I mentioned, previously in other videos, massive fan of back markers and midfield teams. So my opinion is very highly on the Minardi F1 team. Undescribed66, he says, what is your dream car? Pagani Zonda, I don't know, the McLaren P1, just to name a few. He does say be realistic though, but it's nice to dream. Dream job, F1 journalist. Will you be branching out to iRacing and R Factor? Sadly not, as I don't having a good gaming PC, but maybe, maybe in a few years, but definitely not for the next kind of couple. It'd have to be probably in, 4 or 5 years. JSP F110 asked, what was the first ever Formula 1 race you watched? That was Brazil 2007. What was the first ever console you played? That was a Sega Mega Drive. And the first ever video game, I couldn't tell you, but it's probably Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and a bit of a weird order to play the second one first, but never know, could have happened. I had also the first ever FIFA. It could have been Aladdin or the Terminator. I just can't specifically remember, picking it up for the first time and kind of remembering which game I played, but I'm pretty sure it was, one of those ones I listed. F1 Maestro 26, he says, congrats on 400 subs for a start. So now questions, there'll probably be a lot of them. What made you start YouTube? As you can see in the background, Alex Zaffro, I guess he's a who, and the what is just, I knew I wanted to be an F1 journalist in the future, so I thought, YouTube is a very logical step, and just, a great way to express my opinions on F1. How old are you? 15. What are your predictions for the F1 LS Xbox Drivers and Constructors Championship? Gotta be Ferrari and Pro Racing. Come on, back the boys in red. How many F1 games do you have, and name them? I have F1 Championship Season 2000, F1 2000, F1 05, F1 Career Challenge 1999 to 2002. They're all on the PS2, or F1 2000 is on the PS1, I think. I also have all the Codemasters F1 games, and of course, hopefully adding to that collection will be F1 2015. What's the best series video you created? Best video is probably the F1 live season 2014 season highlights. Best series is probably just F1 discussion videos in general, seeing as I haven't really done that many series on this channel, sadly, but you know, hopefully that's going to change as Project Cars and F1 2015, you know, come onto the channel, and of course F1 05 career mode as well. I'm really looking forward to making that. And RT Cosmos asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you miss me in F5? Gotta be a 10. Can't wait to race again in season 9.5. Of course, if you didn't know, AOR are doing a 9.5 on F1 2013, just this quick 6-race season. Right Box asks, congrats, good Josh. First question, you're going to Eurogamer in September? Sadly not, but I hope everyone who is has a brilliant time. I'm sure it'll be really, really good. Second question, what do you think is the highest position a McLaren will get this season? That's a tough one. Many predicting before the season they'd be winning, you know, within the first half of the year. Can't see that at the moment, and I think everyone who said that's pretty much, you know, knows that now. But you never know what's going to happen after, you know, in the kind of second half of the year. Many people hoping they'll be fighting for podiums. Is it possible? You know, maybe. I don't think they can catch Ferrari and Mercedes, so they're the biggest they can hope for, in my opinion, this season is third best team. You know, can they catch Williams? They got a much bigger budget, but of course, you know, Williams have all the experience, the best engine on the grid, so it's going to be really, really tough for McLaren. But I think we're going to see them making progress throughout the year. So my highest position I think they'll get is a cheeky podium, maybe in the last few races, so third place. A Shark asks, what's your opinion on F3? In my opinion, I think there are amateur players playing on amateur races. Bit harsh. I think F3 is a really, really respectable series. Sadly, it's on Motors TV, so you know many people can't watch it, but I can. And sadly, Motors TV isn't in HD, which is a bit of a drawback. But I think it's still really, really great series to watch. You know, about 35, 36 drivers, massive variation from, you know, male to female drivers to, you know, Indonesian to Filipinian to you know, English to British to American. They're the same thing, aren't they? British and English. Anyway, you know, there's such a diverse range of drivers. Really, really great to see in F3. Felix Rosenquist is my tip for the title this year. F1 2015 season build-up and news asks, predictions for the F1 2015 game, will it live up to expectations? I really, really hope it does, and I do predict it will. Do you think Codemasters will keep the F1 license after the 2016 game when it expires? I didn't actually know it was expiring after the 2016 game. I think they will. I think F1 2015 is going to be really good. I think, you know, and another question is, who would take up the reins of, you know, getting kind of started making the F1 games? All you have to do is go on Twitter and just, you know, look at all the negativity surrounding the F1 games at the moment. Do their company really want that kind of on their back? You know, I think there would be definitely a company that would take over, but the question would be, would someone take over immediately? Could we kind of lose a 2017, 2018 game? You know, if you remember back to 2006, after, you know, EA and kind of Sony both lost the license to the F1 games, we didn't have anyone making F1 games until 2010. I mean, there was a 2009 Wii and, you know, PSP game, but the first kind of proper console game wasn't until 2010, so I really don't want to see anything like that in the future. So I think it's probably best if Codemasters keep the license, unless 2015 and 2016 are absolutely awful. Favourite video you've ever made? As I mentioned, also probably best as well, is you know, my F1 live season 2014 season highlights. Favourite game ever? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Football Manager 2007 on the PSP. Played that a mighty lot. Lego Star Wars on the PS2 as well. Simpsons Hit and Run. There's quite a lot to choose from. Mainly on the older gen. I mean, you know, the 360 has plenty of good games, but there's not really one that stands out to me, whereas, you know, there is, as I mentioned, a few on the PS2, so I guess I'll have to go with those three I mentioned. Moving on to the next question from Zach Hussein. He says, happy 50th birthday, Dave. Bit strange. What did he get? Well, as you can see there in the background, an iPad Mini 2. I also got Far Cry 4, I got this new microphone, I got some new editing software, sweets and chocolate, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, thank you very much for asking. Sean from F1 BP, or, you know, that's the, of course, Banter something league. I don't know, it's a BPRL league anyway. So it's a really good league. I definitely recommend, you know, you guys could check it out. You can find it on Twitter. Of course, it's an Xbox league, I believe. I'm a week late, I know, but congrats, no problem at all. Favourite Irish driver in F1 LS and BPRL. Don't really have one, to be honest. 3 favourite drivers on the current F1 grid. Got to say Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz Jr. and Felipe Nasr. They're the 3 drivers I support. Of course, as you mentioned, on the current grid, of course, if, you know, of course, Sutil came back, and of course, he'd take up one of those spots. Who would leave the top 3? I don't really want to choose. I can't really say, to be honest. You know, I'd have to evaluate that I think I support all those drivers because, you know, I supported them before they got to F1, and I think that's really cool. As kind of when you're a new F1 fan, you know, you can't really get that until after a few years, and I think it makes it more special. You know, when you watch drivers coming through Junior Formula, when they finally get into F1, like, you know, I have been watching Felipe Nasr for a long time. It's really, really great to see them, you know, when they finally make it, especially like when Felipe Nasr just comes in and absolutely destroys everyone in the first race. 5th place in his Alba is absolutely amazing. He says, would you rather blow your nose with sandpaper or sand timber with tissue? Definitely blow your nose with sandpaper, for sure. Sam Dickinson, his question is, why is Le Mans better than F1? Well, that's your opinion. You're perfectly entitled to it. I can definitely see why so many more people, you know, like Le Mans than F1. But I think generally, you know, the majority is certainly with F1. I get, you know, people will ask the kind of question, will WEC kind of take over F1 in terms of viewership? I don't think it will ever will, just because of the distance of the races, just because of the TV coverage at the moment as well. It's on Motors TV, you know, the majority is never going to be able to, you know, there's no way more people are going to watch Motors TV than, you know, Sky F1. F1's a massive sport. You know, they're talking about shortening the F1 races, so there's no way people are going to be watching, you know, 24-hour races for Le Mans and, you know, 6-hour races for the WEC, for the other races apart from Le Mans. So, although I think it's a really, really good series, I'm not a fan of it, and I don't think it's, you know, ever going to be kind of better than F1 in the sense of viewership. But in many people's opinions, you know, and there are plenty of arguments to say it is better overall as a series. Snash Gaming asks, chicken or prawns? Gotta be chicken. Farshad Fazarati, I do really apologise if I pronounce your name wrong. Please do put it in the comment section below so I can pronounce it right for future videos. But he says, thank you for all of your content, man. You're the only person who reviews the races clearly and directly. Thank you very much. That's what I aim to do. One question. Of Ferrari, which driver do you think will manage the most points by the end of this season? That's a really, really great question. Will it be Vettel or Raikkonen? I'm leaning towards Vettel at the moment. I think he's been the better of the two this season, but Raikkonen is very, very close. I could be wrong. Could really go either way. If Vettel has a bit of bad luck and Raikkonen gets some luck, you know, we could see that battle, you know, going all the way down to Abu Dhabi. That'd be really, really great to see. And I really do want to see the Ferrari get better in terms of pace and, you know, match the Mercedes. That would be absolutely brilliant. We'd have a great title fight between 4, maybe 3 drivers, I guess, because, you know, the question is, can Rosberg sustain a challenge? Probably not. Can Raikkonen sustain a challenge? In my opinion, he can. If we won it, that'd be great to see Raikkonen go for the title, despite his age and, you know, his experience, of course, coming to the end of his career. But it'd be great to see him, you know, fighting for the championship alongside the younger guys of, you know, Vettel, Hamilton and Rosberg. Ryan Foley Racing says, congrats on 400 Subway sandwiches, M9. Typical Ryan Foley there. Do you drink tea? Sadly not. What is your favourite tea brand? Well, I don't really have one, since I don't drink tea. Opinion on Antonio Takaki. And I do believe you pronounced Takaki's name wrong, so I think you should have to worship him 50 times tonight to make up for it. Will Killian bring the banter on F105 career mode? I'm pretty sure he will. Kenneth Ang08 asks, any advice to small YouTubers like me? It's quite frustrating because you don't make progress no matter how much you improve. I've got, you know, quite a bit of advice, and I'm going to make it into a kind of a mini series coming up on my channel soon, just to help, like you mentioned, small YouTubers, not just people starting out, because there's plenty of videos like that, but, you know, it's kind of easy to start a channel, to set it up, but it's really hard to kind of maintain it. And just, you know, my kind of quick advice, kind of in a nutshell, is just try and be different, try to stand out from the crowd, be consistent, do something different. You know, if you're doing a career mode and it's just a career mode, sadly you're not going to get anywhere, because you're never going to get noticed. People type in career mode into the search engines, it's never going to come up. People aren't going to be engaged to watch it. If they saw it, you know, on the recommended page, they're never going to click on it. You're probably not going to get on the recommended page, you know, sadly, because you're a small YouTuber, you know, as I will probably never get on, unless it's something, you know, really specifically, or people have been watching, you know, like every one of my videos. I think it's, you know, really, really tough as a small YouTuber, but like I mentioned, you've just got to try and stand out from the crowd, be unique, and just be consistent. You know, I was very consistent in my early days in terms of making videos, not just, you know, kind of series, because I've never been that consistent at that, but if you're just consistent about making videos, you know, I do so many previews, reviews, discussion videos constantly. A lot of people are just subscribed for those, and they know they're going to get them, and I provide that. So, you know, like I said, advice, just try and be unique, try and stand out from the crowd, and just try and be consistent. Penultimate question then from RiotFan0100. He says, congrats on 400 subs. What would you choose as your permanent driver number between 2 and 99? Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, Sutil, of course, went with 99, but I think I'd probably go with 88. Richard Gonda says, have you ever advertised your channel to others? Yes, of course, because I have Twitter. And how much time it took you to get to 400 subs? I of course started Christmas 2015, so a year and 4 months. Alon's slow or Alon's old? Don't think it's really either. Certainly not slow, so I guess I'll have to go with Alon's old. Anyway, then that's pretty much it. Thank you for all of your questions. And of course, if you do have any more, or if I missed your question out, I'm really, really sorry. It wasn't because I ignored it, it's just because, I missed it. Please put it down in the comment section below and I'll answer it for you. Anyway, I'm Perez. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.